I wanted to talk about an uptick on lapsed policies that we've been seeing within our accountants vertical for their professional liability insurance policies. Often these lapses are for a short period of time, but they can create significant issues for the accounting firm. The first is if a policy is lapsed more than a brief period of time, you're often not allowed through the insurance company to renew the coverage, which means you're going to be starting over from scratch with a brand new policy, having to reapply, get new quotes. The other problem is that if you do want to get coverage reinstated, and it's only been a very brief number of days, maybe weeks, and they'll ask for a no known loss letter typically, and you'll have to disclose if there's been any alleged suits, you've become aware of a claim, and that could cause problems with getting your policy reinstated. It could also cause claims to not be covered during this period where there's no coverage in force. A claims made policy, which most professional liability insurance policies are, require two triggers in order for a claim to be considered for coverage. The first is that there has to be coverage in effect, either through prior acts or an enforced policy, at the date when the error is made. The other trigger is that coverage has to be enforced when the claim is filed, hence the claims made terminology. So if you do not have prior acts when the error occurred, then the claim will not be considered for coverage. If an accountant lets their policy lapse and there's no coverage through prior acts, then they lose coverage for any claims that derive out of any professional work done during that policy, the previous policy years. So this is very critical that they try to maintain prior acts coverage because years and years of work accumulate. And during that time, there could be a lot of alleged errors and the coverage would be gone if they did not have their prior acts in force. So when someone's had coverage in place for years and then something happens where they don't renew their coverage, or the other scenario is they could be shopping for new coverage and bind a policy that didn't include prior acts, generally unintentionally, then they've lost all of those years of premium payments and coverage that they had is essentially wiped away. And now they are exposed for all of those years of work and potential claims that could come in. Not renewing in a timely fashion is extremely problematic because you can't control when a claim gets filed. And they usually don't happen when it's convenient. So that claim could pop during that period of non-coverage, and then you're going to end up paying out of pocket for the entire claim. The other thing is there's no guarantee that an insurance company will allow you to backdate and renew the coverage. There's, like I said, the no loss letter to consider, the amount of time since the policy lapsed to consider. There's a lot that goes into that, and there's no guarantee. So you're taking a very big risk if you don't renew by the expiration date of your current policy. When your renewal date is getting closer, generally you'll receive a renewal questionnaire from your insurance company. Be sure to fill that out in a timely manner, get it back to them so they can identify any changes in the practice, get your renewal quote out nice and early so you have time to review it and respond accordingly. Plan to renew by the time your policy is going to expire. That way, if you do have an emergency, an illness, car accident, hospitalization, and you're unable to renew, you do still have a little bit of a grace period in there. So don't wait until the last minute or intentionally wait till after the policy should have renewed. If you have become aware that your policy has lapsed, you need to react quickly and do everything you can to work with your insurance company to get a policy back into force. So work with them. If they need a no known loss letter, complete that. If they need payment, especially if you're backdating, you'll have to pay back to the beginning of when that policy should have been effective, but work to get coverage in force and get yourself a proof of coverage as soon as possible. So my best advice is work on your renewals early. Don't treat your expiration date like a soft deadline. It is a hard deadline, just like any other filing deadline that you would deal with for a client. Take your renewal seriously. Work with your agent and your carrier to make sure that your renewal is fully issued and that you have a certificate of insurance in force. Just communicate and put reminders on your calendar. Don't forget, renew your coverage on time.